American Top 40.
Here's a five-man group new to American Top 40 at number 38. The name of the group is the name of the leader of the group, Alice Cooper. The song, 18. Number 38 in American Top 40, Alice Cooper, a five-man group, and the song, 18.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
Here now is one of the wildest singers around. He was born in Detroit, Michigan back in 1948. Was raised in Detroit and Phoenix, Arizona. Attended Cortez High School in Phoenix, where he first used the name Alice.
Man got his woman.
Alice Cooper at number 12 in the countdown on American Top 40 with Only Women.
American Top 40.
Well, now on AT40, the further weird adventures of the entertainingly weird Mr. Alice Cooper. A couple of weeks ago, Alice threw a party in honor of the bicentennial celebration. Now, the party cost Alice $50,000, was held at the Hollywood Palladium, and about 2,000 people showed up. Of course, Alice, ever the thoughtful host, provided entertainment for the occasion, including a man dressed as Uncle Sam wandering around on 12-foot stilts, a mini mule and mini poodles riding bicycles, two magicians, several Laurel and Hardy lookalikes, a juggler from the Ringling Brothers Circus who strolled through the crowd juggling fire and china plates, several topless dancers with rings in their noses, a 5-piece Sounds of the 40s band, a 7-piece Dixieland band, the 110-piece Van Nuys Royal Cavaliers marching band with majorettes, a 350-pound cigarette girl, and a phony Statue of Liberty. Stretched from one end of the room to the other was a banner which read, Alice, the All-American Boy. And in addition to plenty of all-American food on the tables, for dessert, there was an enormous cake, out of which popped Alice, dressed in white bodysuit and white top hat, singing When the Saints Go Marching In. And that's the way Alice, the All-American Boy, throws a party. At number 23 this week, falling 9 notches, here's the way Alice sings a hit song called Only Women.
Man got his woman. But take your seat.
Last week at number 14, now down to 23. Alice Cooper with Only Women.
American Top 40.
Well, it's time now for the latest hit by one of the pioneers of what you might call shock rock. During the last 5 years, this flamboyant entertainer has built $1 million career by setting sex and violence to rock music. His albums, they're symphonies of death and destruction and teenage violence. His concerts, they look more like mini horror shows than rock music events. His public image is weird, rough, and slightly demonic. All of which is quite a change of image for a guy whose father and grandfather are both ordained ministers. The artist, of course, is the one and only Nightmare Alice Cooper. When he first became famous, he refused to reveal his real name because his family didn't want to be identified with his controversial and very non-religious image. But I guess they've gotten over their embarrassment now, because not long ago, Alice's father, the Reverend Vincent Furnier, told a reporter that he and Alice's mom are proud of their son's success. But he said, and I'm quoting, "It is quite a shock when you expect to sire a gospel missionary, and instead you get a rebel rock star." End of quote. Well, this week, Reverend Furnier's son, Alice, debuts on AT40 with his latest hit. And this is the second pretty non-violent ballad in a row for Alice. Could it be he's undergoing another change of image? Debuting at number 34, I Never Cry.
If there's a tear on my face, I never cry.
Alice Cooper and the highest debuting record of the week on American Top 40. It's I Never Cry at number 34. Now we're up to the current hit by the superstar who built $1 million career on the most violent and sadistic stage act in rock history. His concerts are spectacles of evil
and the darker side of man's nature. They're equaled only in nightmares and horror movies. They feature phony hangings and electrocutions, spiders and snakes, mock whippings, and every imaginable form of violence, all of which caused the Los Angeles Times to describe this singer as the grand ghoul of rock and roll. But the ghoul himself says it's all good, clean fun. I'm talking, of course, about Alice Cooper, who says his concerts actually serve an important and positive function. He says they allow the audience to vent their hostile feelings safely by watching Alice get violent on their behalf. Well, after 3 hit singles in a row, all soft, pretty love songs, it was beginning to sound like Nightmare Alice was changing his image. But he says it just isn't so. He may be singing tender love songs on his recent singles, but on stage, he plans to be the same bizarre and violent character he's always been. And he says it's all in the name of fun. Moving up to number 37 this week, here's Alice Cooper with You and Me. Alice Cooper on American Top 40 with survey song number 37, moving up 3. That's You and Me.
So this one goes to coast.
Well, now I have my story of the great Alice Cooper put-down. It happened back in 1970, before people got used to seeing rock stars wearing costume makeup off stage. Alice was appearing in New York, and his press agent had set up an interview with a reporter from the New York Times. The 3 of them met for lunch in a classy, conservative restaurant in Midtown Manhattan. Well, when Alice walked in with his shoulder-length hair, his thigh-high black leather boots, a skin-tight jumpsuit, and 4 pounds of mascara around his eyes, every head in the place turned to look. And 4 very proper-looking businessmen at the next table even made some unflattering comments. In fact, all through the meal, one particular loudmouth among them kept up a stream of crude remarks about men who wear makeup. Well, Alice just ignored it all, and when the interview was over, he and his party got up to leave. And Alice walked over to the heckler, put his arm tenderly around the man's shoulder, and said, "Gee, it's terrific to see you again." Then Alice turned and walked out, leaving the man with the mean mouth with some impossible explaining to do. Don't mess with Alice Cooper. At number 9 this week, here he is with his latest, You and Me.
When I get home from work, I'm gonna wrap myself around you.
Alice Cooper on American Top 40, 3rd week in the top 10. At number 9 with You and Me. We have 8 hits to our new number 1, and we're counting down.
Casey's Coast to Coast. American Top 40.
Well, now I have the current smash by a singer who once had an entire audience walk out on him. It happened in Los Angeles back in 1968 while he and his band were doing their unusual act. And 9 years ago, the stage routine put on by this star performer was a very unusual act. In addition to the very loud hard rock music he and his band were playing, they also used a collection of props that you don't usually find on a rock concert stage. Things like crutches, brooms, inflatable toys, and a guillotine. And a flock of live chickens, which they threw, flapping and squawking, into the audience. Well, I guess I don't have to tell you how that went over. 2,000 people got up and stomped out. Well, these days, people scramble to get into concerts put on by this incomparable entertainer, Alice Cooper. This week, his latest hit, a former top 10 smash, is at number 37. Here's Alice with You and Me.
When I get home from
Alice Cooper with a former top 10 record, now at number 37 in the countdown, You and Me.
American Top 40.
Well, now on AT40, I have the current hit by the superstar who recently committed himself to a New York hospital to end the drinking problem that nearly took his life. By 1977, he was drinking 2 quarts of whiskey a day. He'd been an alcoholic for 10 years. The man I'm talking about is Alice Cooper. And all that liquor was not only taking a heavy toll on his health, but his career as well. Alice says, "I hated everything I was doing professionally because I'd lost control over it all. I didn't feel like making any decisions, and I became a recluse. And that's totally opposite from my real personality. I was completely lost because of the drinking." End of quote. Finally, Alice's wife, Cheryl, and his manager, Shep Gordon, convinced him that if he didn't do something about his drinking problem immediately, it would kill him. Well, it took a tremendous commitment and a lot of courage, but Alice took the next big step on his own. He had himself committed to New York State Hospital, and for the next 12 weeks he went through the sometimes very painful withdrawal and therapy that helped him fight his way back from the nightmare of alcoholism. When he was released during Christmas week of '77, the first person to greet him was his wife, who had never before seen him sober. This week, Alice continues his climb up the 40 with his latest hit, a song he says he wrote about his return to sober life. Alice Cooper and How You Gonna See Me Now?
Dear darling,
Alice Cooper at number 22, moving up 4th week on the chart on American Top 40 with How You Gonna See Me Now? 21 hits to number 1, and we're counting them down.
Casey's Coast to Coast.